The house was shaking as if it was an earthquake.
Here in the heart of the
This is the worst Category 5 typhoon to hit the Northern Mariana Islands since 1960.
Reports of massive and widespread destruction, horrifying stories of residents trapped inside their homes as the
It has been confirmed that we do have a second death following directly after Super Typhoon Yutu.
People were really scared up there. They were scared. You could tell it in their voices.
Homes damaged, all windows out, the typhoon shutters ripped off of houses.
The disaster is extremely surreal. Houses are roofless. The whole island is brown, which is usually luscious and green.
Just frightening. I've lived through a lot of typhoons, but I have never experienced anything quite like this.
In the 30 years that I've been here, yeah, we just the strength of the winds were really just unprecedented.
And that, just was extremely shocking.
Yeah.
Because I had that firsthand experience after Solar, and so to see this one, it was just like I never in my life would I have believed a storm could be stronger than Solar that we had just gone through.
Wow.
But my daughter and my granddaughter
were hiding in the closet.
They hide in the closet.
Do you think this is the worst storm that you've ever seen or experienced?
Do I think? No, I don't think. I know this is the worst storm.
I suspect in an event like this will be in the hundreds of millions of dollars before we're over.
December 3rd was when we all moved here. December 3rd was when the school started. And December 3rd was the first people that got here were the people from GTC, Gregorio T. Camacho, and the Cagman Elementary School. Right now that we're shrinking, the numbers are going down, we're trying to put them all in just an area or two to be used around here.
Oh, okay, so instead of the whole area.
Yeah.
What is this building normally used for?
It used to be the juvenile detention unit. I didn't get enough sleep because there was no water, because there was no power right after the typhoon. It was pretty hard. People were complaining. They needed to cook, they needed to eat, they needed to, get water to wash their plates, their clothes, their everything. It was really hard. So I tried to comfort them and talk to them, just let them know that It will come. We just need your patience. And then we have the homeland that we've seen. The water comes up and comes in and fills up the. Sometimes it doesn't fill up. The water tanks at these places, because there are the schools also that need it. So we didn't have enough resources on island to get all of that, like everything. But at least we got something.
Right.
So we tried to ration the shelteries. Please just wash your plates, just shower. You cannot wash your clothes. You cannot, take a long hot bath or long showers.
We got up and I woke up because I felt something. It was him, so I asked him what's wrong. He was like shocked. He didn't say anything. And then my husband woke up and asked him again, and that's when he spoke. So his the roof of the bedroom came off. Came off.
Let's go inside the house. The house that was blown away.
So the bed is here. So I just moved the closet here. I hide my daughter and the baby. So all of us, we just lay down in the wall. We cover ourselves. Wow. Yeah.
How long were you guys hiding in there for?
We start since, I think, 11 o'clock night time all the way to the morning.
Wow. Did you guys even sleep?
No, we didn't sleep. Yeah.
And when you guys were hiding under the mattress and in the closet, could you still feel the wind and the rain?
Yes. The wind is like whistling like that.
Why did you guys choose to stay in this room? Was it because the closet was here?
No, it's not that, but when we're out there, all the things are
coming this way.
Yeah.
So you have this wall.
Yes, so everybody hide over here. All of us, we hide here.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody stay on the wall. We keep on looking, the things keep on coming. Then when it comes again over here, so everybody running.
Then you went in here.
Yeah. We tried to call 911, but everything is locked down. Yeah, it's already, the wind is very strong.
My two sons were already
shaking because they were wet.
Shaking, freezing, because
it was cold.
Yeah, and
we
the
were
rain keep on
soaking
coming.
wet.
And this kind of a closet, I hide my daughter in that kind. That's the one.
Oh, this is the one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we take it out, we just cover our things.
Oh, wow.
These are all our things from the typhoon.
So this saved your life?
Yeah.
Everybody back off. Everybody like to talk that people everywhere. Big business. I always talk like Trump. Gimme. Push.
All right, let me
step.
All right, here inside band where we belong. Typhoon hit us, but we Mariana strong. Ooh, we tougher than that. Everybody understand we stronger than that. Oh, everybody rapping that 670 when they say we can't fold. Ooh, I won't start it 'cause struggle was real. We so top, I hope you feel. Ay, rapping me like a stone. Hey, nobody can break our bone 'cause we got two keys coming out from that.
Well, our house was messed up. All the windows are broken and most of the stuff are gone. So I was still happy because my speaker and the phone was still alive. And the instrumental and the lyrics are inside. That's all I need. So I'm good.
How long have you been rapping?
Since I was 8. I started rap battling in school and
What got you into rap music?
when I first listened to Tupac and those Compton boys, Eminem, Ross, like rapping's the only way that calms me down. So I just do it, and all of a sudden I never noticed that the pain that I had before was not even hitting anymore. When we rap, it's all about that, more confidence happens to it, and then they feel their confidence too, they show their talents too, and we never know that they could do it. So we give them more confidence so they can rise and rise.
mean, one of the images that ingrained in my head on that trek was in front of the AK Motors triangle, they call it out here, the micro triangle. There's a line of about 20 flags that represent the different island nations and CNMI and the United States, and it's a kind of like a landmark almost of these 20 or so flags that are there. Every single flagpole was at a 90-degree angle. Even the concrete poles that we put up after Sodalor went down on this storm. That's how strong it was. But it was littered with the regular poles, concrete poles, wiring, debris, pole roofs. Everything was kind of littering the main highway. Never in my life would I have believed a storm could be stronger than Sodalor that we had just gone through. And this one really was. It wasn't just that the winds were stronger, it was also the duration of it. Sodalor came and it came forceful, but it came in a period of maybe 3 hours of super intense winds. This one probably lasted like 7 hours of intense winds. It was from maybe about 10 or 11 at night all the way till 8? Well after 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning.
We got hit pretty hard where we're at, and of course we have a big ocean view, live up on top of the mountain, so you're used to seeing a specific type of view. So the next morning you see, not only the damages of your house, but you see the damages of your neighbors, the damages of all the other houses down the street, down the road, other villages. You can see everything where I'm at.
Where you're
completely flattened.
So I lived through things like Typhoon Kim, and that was a huge super typhoon back in the late 80s, if memory serves me correct. And I've always been almost proud in a sense of the resilience of this island, of my island, and how in our minds, no matter how hard the storm is, we're going to recover, we're going to rebuild, and we're going to come back. And so when Sodalor hit, and the level of destruction was so great, it was difficult to maintain that attitude of, like, we're going to bounce back, we're going to get through this, because the recovery period was so much longer, and the rebuilding period was so much longer, and so many people were so negatively impacted. But we really did.
I was in my house. I live in an area called Papago, kind of on the backside of the island. And, normally I live in a fully concrete home, and I boarded up my house like everyone should be doing right before a storm hits. But the strength of the winds, and the and there's the kind of the cyclonic movement of the wind, is different in every part of the island, depending on how it's turning as it's passing through that area. And whatever the case was, I had boarded up my house, but the storm boards ripped off the front of the house that I had 2 sliding windows. And then there was so much pressure that it sucked the windows right into the house. So it blew up the 2 doors and the glass and everything. And so the entire front living space of our house was really pretty much destroyed. We ended up, the next morning, because we had retreated into an interior bathroom with no windows, and we basically hunkered down for 4 or 5 hours waiting for the storm to pass. But of course, I had always the conflict of being a Red Crosser is, my mission to serve the people here in the community, and then my own personal family. So I had to tell my wife and my daughter that, I had to leave the house and I had to get to the office as soon as possible to begin to mount the operation. Right after Yutu, when every single family on this island was impacted, we had 150 people come to this office and asking, what can we do to help others who are in need? And every time I, see these people and work with them, I'm just so inspired. That volunteer spirit is very strong. I mean, that's one of our guiding fundamental principles within the organization and that's the backbone of everything we do is based on our volunteers.
So the process would be the surveyors go out. Would with their mobile phones.
Yep.
And then they take pictures and they input the data like on the spot as they're on the field.
Right. So what they do is they go and let's say they're going to Coconut Street and they're standing on Coconut Street. So they would enter in the information that they're at the first house on the left at Coconut Street. And once they log in that information, then they would stand in front of that house and press enter. And then they would put in the information. Was this home destroyed? Did it have major damage or minor damage?
I see.
They would put enter, and then they would drive, 50 feet further to the next house,
Mhm.
and then when the next questionnaire comes out, all that stuff is preloaded already. So all they have to do is just change the street address or
Right.
the location or something like that. They don't have to keep entering it over and over again.
see.
And we also gave out these
Oh, okay. Solar powered.
lights, rooms and mops and all kinds of stuff. You screw the poles together. It's all
Mhm.
kind of really our effort is to try to reach out and help those that are the most vulnerable and that need the assistance the most. We wish we could provide assistance to everyone on the island, but unfortunately we can't do that. But with that said, we provided, I know, over $2.2 million in financial assistance. And we provided, several $1 million of in-kind support, what we call direct kind of emergency supplies. So this would be everything from tarps and drinking water and food and mosquito nets and lanterns and cook stoves and things like that. So I think we've done our best to try to help the most vulnerable. And we were very sensitive about going back into areas that we didn't see the number of people coming into our service center and really reaching out to those villages. Everyone who was involved in the Yutu relief efforts, did, I think, really an outstanding job. And I'm just so proud of our volunteers and everyone in the community that pitched in, during our darkest hours and really helped people.
As far as our Tetris program, we've given out thousands of tents and are now at the part where by the end of the month, if not early February, we'll be done putting roofs on homes through the CBs and the Air Force engineers that are here. The funding we provide right now is just at the beginning stages. Meaning that we've provided over $20 million in assistance to individuals, and that doesn't include SBA loans and those kind of things. We are right now estimating our public assistance program and going out and writing the grants for that for the damaged schools, roads, bridges, those kind of things, public buildings, and doing those kind of things. Debris removal, we made a lot of progress on debris removal, including bringing air burners in now to help reduce the amount of debris and impact the hard fill as far as life cycle. But expect that the majority of power will be up and operational before the end of February. And then at that point, we're really going to focus on long-term resiliency of the system, or replacing maybe wood poles we put up temporarily with concrete poles, looking if there's opportunities to maybe underground certain segments of the power system. How do we make it more resilient? That will allow us to move the generators from the water wells. But as we do that, we want to put back permanent generators at some of the water wells so that not only do we build the power system more resilient, but we build redundancy into key infrastructure. Temporary schools are being put up. I was just down at the site the other day in 2 locations, and those will be up by the end of the month. And then CNMI will be able to start occupying them and put equipment and supplies in there so that schools could reopen those temporary classrooms early February. Lastly is really looking at homes that maybe had more damage than a roof would fix. Individuals that lived here before the storm, they're uninsured, that are primary homeowners, and looking at some type of permanent housing construction to either help them permanently rebuild their home or replace their home. And there's probably about 500 people that fall into that category. So what we did is start call outs to those individuals to discuss the use of our permanent housing construction program. We're seeking authority right now to use that, which is only granted really in insular areas. And our hope is that we'll be able to better build the home to the 2018 IBC building codes to prevent against future damages in an event like this. I suspect in an event like this will be in the hundreds of millions of dollars before we're over.
Even before Typhoon Yutu hit, I was in communications already with the CUC director. And at one point, it looked like it was going to hit Guam, so I was telling him to prepare his crews to come to Guam because that was such a horrendous storm. So immediately after the storm, we did send an advance crew of 7, and then eventually by November 1st, we had a total of 42 personnel on the ground. And so those 42 personnel stayed until December 22nd, just before Christmas. And then we sent the second wave of another 32 personnel around the 27th of December. So they're there now, and they're working. Saipan now is about 85% recovered, more than that, I believe. But the efforts now is that we're by the end of the month, 31st, we'll start bringing back some of the crews. And the last of the crews, the linemen, will be there until the 23rd of February. By that time, we would have been substantially completed. In Typhoon Solar, when we came there, they didn't have concrete poles. So GPA, through FEMA, provided about 300 to 400. And that was in Typhoon Solar, the damage was in the northern part of the island. This time around, it's really from the middle down. No? The north that had the concrete poles and other things were basically had some line damages. They were able to get that back quickly. But the south basically destroyed. So now we provided about 450 concrete poles again. In addition to that, they ordered almost 1,000 poles additionally from our contractor or so to assist. We also sent over substation personnel, relay personnel, engineers, and they assisted them in all their different components of the system. Because we do it here in Guam, we do everything, no? So we had all that expertise. The total assistance, other than in terms of cost to Saipan, is about $6 million. No, about $3.5 million of that is materials and supplies, and about $2.5 in labor costs. Normally, we like to do a 30-day rotation. But they have asked that, okay, we can stay another 2 weeks beyond that. So that way, in a situation like this in Typhoon Solar, we rotated every 30 days. Here, we're rotating them in 55 days. In this side of the world, it's only us, our Marianas brothers and sisters. And so in one way or another, if Guam really had a major storm that, it's going to take a little while to put together, they gladly will fit right into our crews.
Do you think this is the worst storm that you've ever seen or experienced?
Do I think? No, I don't think. I know this is the worst storm. For 25 years, we didn't have any major storm. Nothing catastrophic. We see it here up to Guam or somewhere else. But the reality of life, especially in the Marianas, kicked in that we are on a typhoon alley, and it was just something that we should have been on top of, but we haven't been. So, lesson: we need to be fully aware that this is going to happen again in the future. And the lesson is that we need to, when we're in the process of rebuilding, we need to harden our infrastructures, make our homes a lot safer, with typhoons, disaster always in mind. And there are departments in this government that have really exemplified strong leadership during the course of our recovery, and so to them we commend them. Again, to the people of Guam, really, I want to thank them, to the federal government. we can all talk about it and we can find little things that we can complain about. But at the end of the day, really, we are fortunate to have such good neighbors like Guam and FSM and Palau and Hawaii and even folks from mainland United States, NGOs in the region, Samaritan Purse, Zuda Network, and everything. So there will come a time when it will be our turn to help our neighbors, and I hope that our people will be as generous as those folks that helped us when we are suffering.